Good evening, everybody. I'd like to declare the meeting open and welcome you all here, and also just acknowledge that we are live recording our meetings. And I'd like to call upon Councillor Winmar.
Thank you, Worship. I'd like to acknowledge we're on Noongar land today, and I'll start by saying Ngalak Nyening Kurulong, Kuro Ngalak, Noich Nija Noongar Buja. Noongar Murt Jurpa Nyening Nija Nala, Quabrak Noongar Buja Kurulong. From the beginning of time to the end, this is Noongar country. Noongar people have been graceful keepers of our nation for many, many years. Ngala Jurpa and Marmot Buja Ngalak Bala, Marmot Quab. Ngala Kot Jurpa Nija Ngala Mai Mai Nyening Noongar Buja. We respect the earth, our mother, and understand that we belong to her. She does not belong to us. In all her beauty, we find comfort, well-being, and life that creates a home for everyone that has become a keeper of Noongar country. Jinin Karajan Jurpan Nijawern Noongar Buja Ngala Mai Mai Borda. Look, listen, understand, and embrace all the elements of Noongar country that is forever our home. Kai Wanju, Gan Barry Winbar, Wajak Baladong Marman, Gan Court Jurpan, Nunuk Nija Noongar Buja, Gajid Wangani Nuich Noongar Buja. Hello and welcome, my name is Barry Winmar. I'm a Wajak Baladong man. My heart is happy as we are gathered on Noongar country and speaking here on Noongar country tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Winmar, and I'd like to acknowledge that we meet here on the land of the Noongar people and pay our respects to elders past, present, and any future emerging leaders. And I'd now like to call upon Councillor Sue Kearney for the dedication.
Have the wisdom to consider all matters before us with due consideration, integrity and respect for the council chamber. May the decisions made be in good faith and always in the best interest of the greater Kwinana community that we serve.
Thank you. We have no leave of absence, so we have had an apology from Councillor Matthew Rouse. There are no members of public. There is a response to a petition on 6.1, but that will be dealt with as as an urgent business at a later date. There are no presentations, deputations. Item 7.1 is a confirmation of minutes for our ordinary meeting of council held on the 22nd of June. Would somebody like to move those minutes? Thank you. Moved Deputy Mayor, seconded to Councillor Winmar. Either councillors wish to speak on those minutes? Anybody wish to speak against? Should put it to the vote. All in favour? Against? So carried. Do we have any declarations of interest? Nil. Requests for leave of absence. I'd like to request a leave of absence from September the 10th to September the 17th. Would somebody like to move that way? Move Councillor S. Wood, seconded Councillor S. Kearney. All in favour? Against? So carried.
I'd like to request a leave of absence too. I'm unsure at the moment, but I've been called up for jury duty. From the 1st of August for the whole week, so 1st to the 8th perhaps. Thank you.
Somebody like to move that way? Moved Councillor Winmar, seconded to Councillor Brown. All in favour? Against? So carried. Thank you. If you just wouldn't mind putting Councillor in front of Councillor Sherilyn Wood's name there, that's great. Thank you. Thank you. We have nothing on item 10 or 11. Item 12, 12.1, I move that we deal with this matter at item 25, which is confidential item behind closed doors. Somebody like to move that way? Move Councillor D. Wood, seconded Councillor Winmar. All in favour? Against? So carried. Thank you. There's nothing on item 13. Item 14, 14.1 is the naming of the new Honeywood Pavilion. Are there any questions on this item? Thank you. No need to stand, Councillor Wood.
Yeah, sorry about that, but I'm out of action at the moment. We had a briefing on this some time ago, and I might be wrong, but I recall that we're going to call it the Honeywood Pavilion, no problem there, and have the Aboriginal name near the doorway of the thing. That doesn't say where it's going to go there. I'm just querying, are we going against what was decided in the briefing or what?
Might ask one of the councillors, council officers. Mr Fisher.
Yes, so if you recall at the Parks and Places Naming Committee, I think that was back in April, we discussed that. So yeah, we agreed that it will be co-named, and we also talked about there will be some signage at the front of the building. So that's where that information will be. So obviously we called Honeywood Pavilion and then co-named the Aboriginal specific name that we had before you tonight. There's also some opportunities for some public art and that sort of thing on the building as well, which we also discussed.
We were going to split the two names, one in one place and one in the other. That's from my memory.
No.
No?
No, just remember, same with all the dual naming, it would be the English and then it would be the Aboriginal name.
That's no problem. I just had
Yeah.
to get, I didn't want it put in the backyard or something. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? I have one, and it's probably to Councillor Winmar. What is the correct pronunciation, please?
Yeah, thank you, Worship. The pronunciation is Nguk, born, Maya Maya.
Nook. So the G is a silent G.
As in Eng, Nguk, born, Maya Maya.
Great. Thank
So,
you
yeah,
very much.
Thank you very much.
Are there any other questions? If not, would somebody like to move? Thank you. Move Councillor Winmar, seconded Councillor D. Wood. Councillor Winmar, would you like to speak to the item?
Yes, Your Worship. I would like to once again recognise and acknowledge the continued work of the officers in ensuring that the dual naming process is clear and open and transparent. There was community consultation on this process, and it was well received, as you're aware, yourself being the co-chair of the Bullamara, by the representatives for the City of Kwinana. And the way that the process has been handled, the community was very receptive and very much appreciative, and are very much in support of the dual naming process and systems thus far. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Wood? Sorry, we can't hear at home actually if you don't press the red button.
Probably can't even because of this too. I've got nothing further to say other than I'm pleased that it's been done this way. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody wish to speak against? Put it to the vote. All in favour? Against? So carried. There's nothing on item 15. Item 16.1 is a council policy on the fireworks management. Are there any questions to the officers? If not, we have a recommendation. Would somebody like to move that way? Move Councillor S. Wood, second Councillor Kearney. Do the councillors wish to speak?
No, thank you, Worship.
Anybody wish to speak against? I shall put it to the vote. All in favour? Against? So carried. There's nothing on item 17. Now, item 18.1 to 18.5, they're matters of policy. I'd happy if somebody wanted to move them in block, unless somebody wished to actually speak on one of those items, and I'll draw that item out. Seconded to council, moved Deputy Mayor, seconded to Councillor Wood. All in favour? Sorry. You have moved on block. You just repeated what I had said before, 18.1 to 18.5 to move on block. So moved Deputy Mayor, seconded to Councillor Wood. All in favour? Against? So carried. Item 19, there is nothing, no items. Item 20, nil. Item 21, there is an item of late business that I believe we are dealing with that behind closed doors.
No, sorry, the items, the attachments are confidential.
Oh, right, sorry, I don't have it before me. Thank you. Are there any questions? Same one.
Yeah, same one, but if you want to scroll through here, you can.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Are there any questions? And I hope you've all had the opportunity to read. You may recall this petition was tabled a fortnight ago, and we asked the officers to prepare prepare an item and a recommendation. So happy to take any questions to the officers. If not, we have a recommendation. Sorry, that the council deal with item 1 of urgent business as presented in the addendum to the agenda. So would somebody like to move Deputy Mayor, seconded to Councillor Winmar. All in favour? Against? So carried. So item 21.1, as a response to the petition, the removal of a swing at the corner of Lambeth Circle and Beauchamp Loop. It's actually Loop, not Lane, in Wallard. Sorry if you wouldn't mind just amending that. So we have a recommendation. If somebody would like to move that way. Move Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor Winmar. Deputy Mayor, do you wish to speak on the item? Councillor Winmar? Anybody wish to speak against? I shall put the matter to the vote. All in favour? Against? So carried. Okay. There's nothing on item... Thanks. There's nothing on item 22. Yes, there is. Reports of elected members. Deputy Mayor?
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Councillor Winmar?
Yes, thank you, Worship. As I alluded to at the last meeting, the coming events in relation to the NAIDOC 2022 celebrations for the City of Kwinana and the subcommittee that organised those events for the week. The events that I attended was the Kwinana NAIDOC 2022 opening ceremony. Just for the information, the event went well. It was at Medina Hall. It was packed out. We had invited 4 schools to perform acts, and we'd actually got more classrooms involved. So there ended up being up to about 140 students there on the day, and there was probably about 90 adults that were there. So the event was very well received by everyone that was present, and I think post pandemic, I think that the numbers had grown up. As I can recall, that was one of the biggest events that we've had for a couple of years. So it was much involvement, and this year the committee thought that it might be an idea to involve some of the local primary schools involved as well, which are some of the acts. I also attended the event and coordinated the Little Peeps Ball. So the Little Peeps Ball is a ball aimed at the group from 4-year-olds to 12-year-olds, because we've got the youth ball and we've got the NAIDOC ball. So the City of Kwinana, there's a lot of young families in Kwinana, so we thought we'd use it as an event for the non-Aboriginal community and the Aboriginal community to come together at an organised event for the young ones. So it was an opportunity for them to get dressed up in little ball gowns and little suits. Once again, there was 178 children at that event, and there was about 92 adults that attended, so it was well attended, and there was very good feedback from the community and how it was organised. Also, I'd like to report that attended the citizenship ceremony, which welcomed new citizens as part of Kwinana. And then we're also the inaugural Noongar Boodja Cup, which is in recognition and honour of Mick Indich, a stalwart of the Kwinana District's Knights Footy Club. He's amassed some 720 odd games that we counted, so we reckon there's more. And that was a well-attended event for everyone in the community. There was 24 juniors turned up for that day, and there was 44 seniors. And once again, it was well attended with about 200 spectators. It went without incidents. We had some good support from the community. It was another well-organised event in collaboration with the Kwinana Youth Engagement Team as well. So I'd like to let the officers know to pass on the congratulations for the well-organised event from lots of community members that attended. It was very well received. We thought that it was going to be, the inclement weather was going to cause some issues, but it held off just long enough. So the game had finished, and then we did all the ceremony and everything out of the way. And yeah, it was well attended. The actual game, the siren went, and they were still continuing the game, and they went to the old backyard rules of the last goal wins. So it's everyone. It was a very enjoyable day. It went without incident, and I'd just like to say that the Aboriginal community groups that formed that committee during that week and set that and worked in collaboration with the City of Kwinana and all the supporting agencies and stakeholders in town, the general feedback from the community was that it was a very well organised week. It was well participated and it was very well received by the community. And that's my report. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you. And the photos, especially the little peeps, all absolutely gorgeous. And you've been acknowledged that you've been very busy over the last couple of weeks. Thank you. Councillor Deewood, please, you don't need to stand up. Oh, sorry, if you wouldn't mind putting on your speaker.
Weren't you going to say you better put your pants on? I have performed all those duties required of me. Unfortunately, I've been out of action for some time. I hope to, well, I'm coming here, but that's about all I can do, really.
Thank you. Good to see you back around the chamber table and acknowledge that you have been unwell or with injuries, overcoming some injuries. So good to see you back. Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Your Worship. So, in line with Councillor Winmar's comments on NAIDOC Week, I was also pleased to attend the opening ceremony at Medina Hall. I think the hall was really buzzing with local community members, organisations, elected members and city representatives as everyone came together to hear a number of engaging speeches and witness a range of performances in line with this year's theme, Get Up, Stand Up, Show Up. And I think I can speak for everyone here that we were all wowed by the impressive music and dance on display throughout the proceedings, as well as a series of Noongar short stories that were told in traditional language by local school children before being translated into English, and I think that was absolutely awesome. Huge kudos must go to all of the volunteers, organisations, city teams and community members who worked so hard to make this fantastic lineup of events happen. And on the topic of language, I wanted to use this opportunity to note that following NAIDOC Week, the City of Kwinana's Public Library has released an expression of interest process for community members who are interested in taking part in Noongar language classes through a 5-week course, and I've seen online that a large number of residents have put their hand up already for this, which is super exciting. And I encourage anyone else who is interested in this to look out for the posts on the city's social media or to reach out to the city's programs team directly. I also recently had the privilege of taking part in the City of Kwinana's latest Australian citizenship ceremony held at Medina Hall, where fellow councillors and I welcomed 38 of our newest citizens who have chosen to make Australia and our local community their home. It's always exciting to see our newest citizens make their pledge and celebrate the special occasion with Kwinana hospitality and plenty of photos. I'll also take this opportunity to thank Federal Minister and Member for Brand Madeline King for attending our local citizenship ceremony on this occasion. And another special event I was excited to attend was A Wonderful Time at the Well evening, hosted by Pete and the Wellard Village people, where local residents came together to get to know each other, share ideas and learn about the variety of initiatives underway to drive connectedness and a sense of community, as well as revitalise the Strand. And something that really drove home to me how important events like this are was meeting a family who are currently building in the local area, who decided to come down from out of the city to meet local residents and find out how they can get involved in neighbourhood activities in the future. So this event had provided an important touch point for them, a way to set themselves up for success as they make their move to Kwinana. And overall goes to show how this sense of community is a powerful tool in shaping what comes next for our city as we grow and evolve in the coming years. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor S. Wood?
Hard to follow that. I, along with most of my fellow councillors, attended the opening ceremony, which was fantastic. Otherwise, I've performed all those duties required of me. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you. Councillor Kearney?
Done the same thing, so I won't put any more to it. It was a great week. The NAIDOC was fantastic, and apparently the game on Sunday was great, fantastic. So glad it went all well.
Thank you. There are no answers to questions which were taken on notice. My mayoral report, I'll just leave it as being tabled and just draw upon just a few things. One of them is to congratulate Lynn Kumar for being awarded the 2022 Kwinana NAIDOC Person of the Year. Lynn in the past has been a Citizen of the Year and certainly very popular and well-deserved nomination and award winner this year. As part of my Welga duties, we had at State Council a strategic forum where the local government minister John Carey attended, spoke about the local government reform updates. There were some questions in relation to the superannuation payments to councillors. For those who may not be aware at home and might be listening, local government elected members do not receive superannuation because we're not employees. John Carey's, Minister Carey said he was the view that it's reasonable in the 21st century to have access to superannuation. The criticism to the Minister, if anything, was the fact that he's left it to each council to make a decision whether they wish to vote to have superannuation payments made. This is in some ways very divisive to the sector and places councillors in a bit of a very awkward position, and no doubt we will follow suit when and if the changes come through and the matter comes to council for a decision. One of the other areas which he is very keen to pursue is a popular elected mayor. The Minister advised he will proceed with the changes and is working on the transition arrangement, but he's hoping that the changes will be in place in time for the October 2023 elections. And as you know, we are one of those councils who would be captured by that change. Currently we have a peer elected mayor, whereas the change will be go to the community and the community will vote on who they wish to lead the council from 2023. That said, he's of the view that councils impacted by the change will be proactive in implementing change ahead of the next elections, and this is, however, there will be ongoing consultation with Welga and the local government professionals in relation to the transition. We had a presentation from the DFIS Acting Assistant Commissioner Craig Waters on the Consolidated Emergency Services Act. Apparently at this stage the earliest introduction will be 2025 because it's significant drafting and the document is well over 230 pages and there'll be obviously impact local government this legislation in several ways. And a really good presentation by Mrs. Catherine Clark, who's a State Library CEO, and she was talking about their strategic plan of local libraries, and I wasn't aware that there's 233 public libraries across West Australian communities, and the State Library alone, she's done the calculation that there's 35 kilometres of shelving which would go from the State Library right through to Rockingham. That's how much shelving they've got. Budget of 10 million annually, and that really libraries are without doubt the heart of our community and welcome people of all ages, cultures and beliefs. And whilst there has been an uptake in the digital world, the hard copy printed library books are still as popular as ever. In relation to the other events, I have listed the meetings and events of note. I'm happy to table that, and I'm always happy to answer any questions arising either now or after the meeting. So if there is nothing further, we have one item behind closed doors, and I would ask that we move that way and that all officers other than our Manager of Human Resources vacate the chambers. Thank you. Thank you. Moved Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor D. Wood. All in favour? Against? So carried. Thank you very much. Please note that council note the formal feedback on the review of existing key performance indicators to be provided to the Chief Executive Officer as detailed in Attachment A as provided by the appraisal agent, and to note the remuneration data presented by the appraisal agent in preparation for the Chief Executive Officer's remuneration negotiations. So that therefore concludes tonight's council meeting. And I thank you for all attending, and sorry? And I declare the meeting closed at 6:06. Thank you.
6:07.